Hey everybody, Dan Got a Thunder here with another video going over the 7.3 Smite patch notes. By the way, thank fuck that they're actually putting numbers on these again, unlike all of Season 6. This is Grim Omens, and I have no idea why they're calling it that, and I don't know if they do either. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 new skins, including a Tier 5 Hou-Yi skin, so have fun spending all your money on that. With 14 skins, because they haven't announced 4 of them yet. Great. Okay. New event. If you want to spend, you can get the option to buy for a roughly, I think that's about like $80, give or take. No, it's more like, that's almost 100, because it's 8,000 gems for $100. That's almost $100 to buy everything. Reminder, for $100, you can buy almost 2 new AAA titles. Think about that before you spend your money for a game you already can play. Let's see, they're increasing duration of assault lobby. Who cares? Fix an issue with a bucking showed the incorrect times. Cool. Integrated a new reporting tool to make it easier for the high-risk support team to identify players detected by our automated systems for review and action. Here's what they need to do. They need to set up a system where you get to know, so if you report one asshole for intentionally feeding, you find out that this player has been banned. This player's account has been suspended. They need to give feedback to the players that report to make it feel like their reports fucking mean something. They need to fucking do that. Anyway, Gods and Items, Vision Shard, AI couldn't figure that out. That was too weird. Mulan's sword would disappear. I don't know if that really affected her basics. Sorry. Back to the bonus balance. I don't know why they're doing 2 fucking balance patches. Like, this is really fucking stupid. They should only do 1 balance patch per month, unless it's something actually game-breaking. And there's nothing in the game right now that's game breaking. There's stuff that's strong. There's stuff that needs to be nerfed, and there's things that really could go with a buff. But there's nothing in this game that right now that is not functioning properly. There's nothing in this game that is, this needs to be patched down. That being said, Blink Rune is getting a 20-second cooldown increase, and the range of the dash is decreasing. I like this. I think this is good. Blink is very powerful the better you are at the game, so making it a little bit less potent, I think is good. I think it's still going to be something you pick up. It's just not going to be as effective. And the upgraded Blink Rune, you're now going to have an incentive to go into that earlier, maybe even before you finish your build, because now it's going to give you 20 seconds less cooldown. So if you're really reliant on a Blink initiation, that is going to be something you'll want to think about. Blink Rune still, from what I understand, from everything I've seen, still gives you some damage mitigation as you initiate. Mace is getting a 50 gold decrease. Makes sense, especially with the Hand of the Gods. I don't really hate this. It lets you go into your builds a little quicker. You get some more diversity out of it. This might dissuade some people from going into Transcendence. Shoes of the Magi. This is fucking dumb. They added 8% lifesteal and 100 mana. So now, the only thing... So, purple boots give you 20 power and 8% lifesteal for 50 more gold, and you lose out on 20 versus 150 mana and 10% CDR. CDR is pretty easy to... Cooldown reduction is easy to come by, and 150 mana, one way or the other, doesn't really matter. I can't imagine a reason you would ever pick up cooldown boots unless it's going to be like that and Chronos Pendant are your only cooldown, which is weirdly specific, versus getting Shoes of the Magi. I think Shoes of the Magi now are almost a must-buy. And I can't imagine any character who wants Shoes of Focus over Shoes of the Magi. The 10% CDR is not going to be enough for it to really swing things where having that 10% is more valuable than the 20 power and 8% lifesteal. Transcendence. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but I always thought this was 10% cooldown reduction upon completion of the item. I thought that was always there. Am I mistaken? Was it always just there on the base form? That's very weird. I thought it was always... It just gave the cooldown reduction when it was completed. If this is new and it wasn't like that before and you always just had the flat CDR, or you even got more? I was at a meeting, so I actually didn't hear the live patch. I was busy working while this was going on, so either way, I don't think this matters too much. Transcendence is still very good. Kukulcan is seeming to get... I'm not sure what's going on with Kukulcan. I feel like he's now been... I think now he's been nerfed past the state when he got buffed to make the whirlwind a bit easier to apply. Power, the Wind Jewel passive, 4% down from 5% of his mana converts into physical power. I think that's like a 50 magical power nerf in the end. That's going to be like between 40 and 50, depending on how you build him. It's actually really significant. Spear of the Nine Winds is still a pretty low cooldown ability for him, but it's not as good as it used to be. This is pretty potent for Kukulcan. We'll see in the long run when it matters, but I don't think that the buff they gave him to how the tick damage of Whirlwind is enough now to offset all of these nerfs he's gotten over the last several patches. Nemesis getting 2-second cooldown reduction on Slice and Dice. Yeah, the first buff they gave, which was like 10%, 5% on each of her 2 dashes, didn't really matter. Especially because it put her in a much worse position to get it. It was only a little bit of extra damage, and you had to burn your dash and your evasion to do it. Is 2 seconds on Slice and Dice going to matter? I'm not sure. I don't think this is necessarily going to vault her up to the top of the meta, but I think this does make her an interesting pick. This is her primary damage ability. I think this really can do a lot for her, with it being up so much more. I just don't think this is necessarily going to throw her into the top of the meta, but you'll see an uptick in her play. You'll see an uptick in how effective she is. Let's see. Odin is getting 15% cooldown on his ult. Not a big deal. Gungear Might on the throw is going to be 10% less. Not a big deal. Raven Shout, 10% less. Not a big deal again. I think all three, these are a fairly decent nerf. Odin is still going to be very highly prioritized in the meta. I don't think this really kills Odin. I don't even think this really brings him out of the top end. I just think this will make him a little bit oppressive should he get through picks and bans. Vimana. Colossal Fury now provides 3% movement speed per stack up to 5 stacks. Reverse of how it was before. Fine. That's fine. I don't know how good he's really been with the 5% over 3 stacks. But either way, still, I don't think this is a really big change to the buff. Mage's Blessing getting 10 more magical power. I think this with purple boots is going to be an effective replacement for blue boots. And even then, you could just go into a Doom Orb or a Chronos Pendant right after. I think this Mage's Blessing is pretty good. Especially in a meta where you're not getting quite as much MP5 as you used to. Enchanted Ring is getting a higher cost. It looks like they're just adjusting the power curve, which is fine. Devo Gloves at 5% more base lifesteal, so it's 5% overall. It caps now at 29 after you get all the stacks up. Devo Glove, I think, was losing out to Transcendence pretty badly. This would help. I don't know if this is too much. I do think this is very good, though. Aphrodite is getting a buff for... I didn't get why she's getting a buff. 2-second cooldown reduction at the start on Kiss. Kiss is generally the last thing she levels up, so this is actually quite impactful. Lovebirds is getting now 15 to 55 plus 15% magical power extra damage. She's not a support. She's still not a support. I think she's a pretty good solo. I think she's a good mid. And I think this will help, because she's always kind of been low on damage, because she only really has 2 damaging abilities. One of them is not an ultimate. Her ultimate does nothing offensively. So she's always got to play a little bit on the defensive side. But having this extra tick, I think, is helpful. Makes it a lot harder to dodge as well. So you'll get much more consistent damage out of the Lovebirds, if I'm not mistaken. Because once the initial tick lands, that's when it starts dealing its damage. So I think this is a pretty substantial buff, unless I'm very mistaken on how that works. Cerberus is getting 9 HP at level 1, up to 180. That's pretty good. Cerberus was not very effective previously. They've been trying to put him back into the meta. He doesn't really even work as an anti-healer support. I think it's just because his ult's kind of clunky. It's not nearly as easy to... It's not nearly as intuitive or fluid as Ares' ult, so I think that's his problem. Guan Yu, Warrior's Will, which I believe this is dash? Yeah, this is dash. Remove camera lock, fine, not a big deal either way. Merlin, 5% less off of Dragonfire, and I think that has like 5 to 6 ticks. So it's about 25 to 30% less damage. Elemental Mastery, which is the ultimate stance switch for him, I believe. That's another 10% off the top. Merlin's still really, really good. He just has so much sustained late game DPS. I don't know, I think this is going to hurt him early on, especially because Dragonfire is what you level up early. I think he's still okay. I don't think he's going to be worthless. Newah, the clay soldiers, will now catch up to people more effectively, which is big. This is where a lot of her damage comes from. So the clay soldiers are faster. They're now going to outspeed a lot of mages late game. Like even, like once you got it to level 5, they're going to outrun mages even with boots. So I think this is good. Decrease the cooldown a little bit. Newah is going to probably be in casual games a lot more. You might see her a little bit probably in carry in the pros. You'll see her more than never, more than you used to. I think she'll be played once in a while at very high levels. Olarun. Let's see. Touch of Fate. His crits are going to go up to 60% damage. Okay. Focused Light is 10 damage at all ranks. This thing has a really long range. I actually got sniped by this at a much longer range than I was expecting. But 10 damage, each rank, whatever. Consecration, you really don't want to be using this for slow anyway, because they're already on you, and you have nothing else to move around with. So the slow being a little more potent is fine. Okay. Harvest. Let me see on this one. Persephone is getting a sweeping list of changes to allow her players to better show their skill with Harvest, while reducing her ultimate's ability effectiveness when blindly thrown at an enemy team. Harvest will see a reduction in mechanical clunk and a quicker growth time. Additionally, Harvest flowers will now run the same distance but in a shorter time, giving opponents a smaller window to juke the plant's bite. This is a buff. Finally, Ultimate now will become more escapable when trapped alone and will take longer to grab onto enemies as they try to flee its grasp. That is a nerf. So the flowers are going to move faster. They evolve into flowers faster. They're still gonna have the same chase radius, but they're gonna move faster. Those are a lot more potent. Sprouts are gonna be more potent as well, and you can lay down a field much more quickly. So this was kind of the big gap between Persephone in casual and ranked when you don't have a coordinated team. She needs setup time. She needs time to fortify. And she needs time to spread a garden out in order to do anything. In organized cooperative play, you have those opportunities, and that's why she was very good in the SPL. At the low levels of play, though, she wasn't doing very well, even in Diamond and Masters games, because of that problem. Because in a disorganized team environment, she can't excel because she needs that setup. Let's see. The Grasp of Death, grasping speed is lowered by 50%, and it's a big attack speed penalty if you are caught in there from 20 to 30 to 15. I think that's fair. I think that's still very good at getting a single isolated target out of the game for a little bit while you hammer away at them, or you just isolate them out. So I think that's good. Sobek is getting another 9 to 180 HP overall, and Sickening Strike is doing 10 more healing per level. That is pretty good. This is really the bigger one, the sustain over the course of the game. He's going to be getting a lot more self-heal off of that than he used to, and I think that's going to make him a lot more dangerous. Sobek has always kind of been this solo-focused character, so giving him a lot more HP, really, that's like half an item. And more healing off the Sickening Strike, I think that's really good. I think Sobek's in a really good spot. I'd be surprised if you don't see him a lot just because his floor is so high, and if you can disrupt the team by getting one valuable target off the pluck. Remember, organized team environments coming in, they can take advantage of isolating out one squishy. Soul is getting a lot of buffs because everyone kept saying she was bad. Soul's decay speed off of her passive is going to be decreased. That's good. Radiance is no longer going to cause minion hit reactions, which makes sense. The Radiance is her 1. So when you would use it, they would move it out, and because it's a stationary damage over time ability, that was causing some issues, and you were missing some ticks off of that. I get that. Supernova is now going to be much easier to land multiple shots, and you get more heat off of that, which makes sense. I think these are good changes. None of these, I don't think, are going to be overly oppressive. I think Soul will feel a lot better to use. I don't think she's going to be broken. Because she was such a non-factor in the meta, I'm not even sure, to be honest with you, if this pushes her into the meta. But I think if you're going to pick her now, it's not necessarily tantamount to trolling. Xingqian is getting a pretty big decrease in the root, scaling from 1 to 2 to 1 to 1.4. And the Sky Cutting Axe is getting 5 less damage at each rank, which this is a non-factor. Who cares? It's 10 damage per rank. Who cares? Hook Slam, though, that's actually a pretty big nerf. The 2-second root was always very potent, but 1.4 still isn't bad. I think Xingqian's fine. Whether or not he's overrated in the meta is a different story, but Xingqian does play a passable solo. He's a very good support. If you want to be a troll, you can play him in jungle. I like to be a troll. You can play him in jungle. Don't try it at home, kids. It's only for entertainment purposes. But, see where it goes. I think so a lot of these changes are good. I like the Persephone change. I like the Soul change. Sobek's really good now, I think. A lot of these changes are pretty good. The one I fucking hate, though, is I think Kukulcan is a bad change as well. But I think we've seen so much of him lately. I'm fine with that. Shoes of the Magi. I don't understand this one. So there's a lot of good in this patch, but then I don't know what this is, what they're doing with this. I really don't. I don't know why they have this. I think they should have just no mana, put the lifesteal on. I think that would have made it and dropped the gold price to match the blue boots, and I think that would have been a much better change. Either way, let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you're new to this channel, make sure you hit subscribe, stay notified when I put up new videos. Thank you for watching. Take care. Catch you all next time.